Good morning. Thank you for joining us right here on Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station. I'm Seun Akinola, and I welcome you to Economic Searchlight for this week. Today we're looking at debt sustainability of Nigeria as we examine the threshold of our debt profile in this country, Nigeria. So we'll be looking at this debt profile, how we have moved from 2015 12 trillion naira total debt profile to 2021, 30 trillion naira. That's more than double of what we had some 6 years ago. How did we get this far? And is it sustainable? How can we sustain this type of debt in Nigeria? These are the issues that we'll be bringing on to your notice today on the program. Economic Searchlight on Splash 105.5 FM. Nigeria, I'm sure you will agree, is not a rich country, as it were, even though Nigeria has a whole lot of natural and human resources, but Nigeria is not among the nations you can call a rich nation. In terms of revenue, we are quite low when it comes to revenue, that is generating revenue. But how far have we gone with our revenue generation compared to our debt profile in Nigeria today? So I will be sharing thoughts from Ben Akabweze, the DG at the Debt Management Office. I'll also be sharing thoughts with some other economists on the program today. Bismarck Rewani will also be sharing thoughts with us on the level of inflation and who, as it were, will rescue the consumer. Is consumer still the king in our economy? He said that consumer is king only in an economy that is liberalized. It's only an economy that is really liberalized that you can say consumer is king. When an economy is contrived, then consumer cannot be king. Rather, he will be a victim. So are Nigerian consumers victims? We'll look at this on the program today. In a free market economy, consumer is said to be king. But what we have in Nigeria today is what you can call an embattled consumer. And so what are the odds against these embattled consumer today? If you look at the global oil market update, we'll start from there. Prices gain as draw in U.S. crude stocks and reinforces outlook for robust demand, as it were today. Brent crude futures rose to $75.27 a barrel. That was yesterday. But today I will give you the update as we move on the program. That's you can find in the Guardian newspaper today. Brent crude is there. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude up to $73.17 a barrel. That is $73.17 a barrel. Commodities update as well. That's where we'll be taking a look at the power of the consumer today. So let's start from this point. How has the consumer fared in Nigeria today? Here is Bismarck Rewani, and I'd like you to listen to what Bismarck has to say to us later on the program today. Now, in terms of borrowing, Ahmed Lawan made a statement just yesterday at the State House. He said they will agree to borrowing more for Nigeria, but they will borrow responsibly. What does that mean? Here is Ahmed Lawan.
What I want to assure Nigerians here is that we are not going to be frivolously supporting or approving loans for the executive arm of government. Whenever we have to approve any loan, we have to insist on the details of what projects will be funded for those by those loans. We have to look at the conditions that are attached to the loans. There must be favorable conditions before we approve, and we will be up to date with our oversight to ensure that what we have approved is directly deployed and on those projects that we have also approved for implementation. We don't have the necessary revenues. Nigeria is poor. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. Nigeria is not rich. Given the circumstances we live in, given the challenges we have, our resources are so low, our revenues are so low, and therefore the option of not doing anything, just to sit because we have no money, we shouldn't go for infrastructure development, is not even an option worthy of consideration. You cannot keep the economy stagnant. Two, you cannot, in my view and judgment, tax Nigerians further for you to raise the money for infrastructure development. Other countries do that, but we have serious situation across the country. So you cannot put taxes on people. The other option is public-private partnership. You need to create the environment to attract investors to come into your country.
That was Ahmed Lawan, the Senate President, speaking about Nigeria's economy and borrowing. Now, government revenue in Nigeria decreased to 903.52 billion naira in the fourth quarter of 2020 from 997.49 billion naira in the third quarter of 2020. That's coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So if you want to understand how Nigeria's debt to GDP, for instance, let's start from that point. Nigeria's debt to GDP, moved from 34.98 the previous was 29.10. The highest has been 75 on the point. And government budget is minus 3.80, and the previous was minus 4.20. For those who understood it, government revenue refers to all receipts the government gets, including taxes, custom duties, revenue from state-owned enterprises, capital revenues, and foreign aid. Government revenues are part of government budget balance calculation. And so, even though they told us that Nigeria inflation rate drops for a second month, Nigeria trade gap widened sharply in March 2021, and Nigeria private sector growth strongest in 9 months. Nigeria holds key interest rate steady at now 11.5%, and that is disincentive to, business, to facilities that manufacturers who want to get, or business people will want to collect from the banks. And you know how much they can even get from commercial banks as it is today. So we will look at some of these issues, but not until we are back from this timeout. After this break, I'll bring Bismarck Rewani on the table, and together we'll look at the path of purchasing power of an average consumer in Nigeria. How strong is our purchasing power? Stay with us.
What are you looking for? The experience of a lifetime? Front row seats?
Game time!
To rub shoulders with the best in the world?
Ronaldo! Oh my goodness me!
And to witness 24 teams battle it out for the ultimate prize.
Hey, my people, Euro 2020 don't land for your domos. Watch all the games live and get better enjoyment on Super Sports Channel 32 from 11 June to 11 July. Make una no miss any of Euro 2020 matches. Get your own GoTV decoder plus GoTenna. Make you enjoy 1 month max subscription for just 9,500 naira. Enter the home of football. GoTV. Love it.
Àti kékeré lọmọ mi ti ní ìran láti di ìlú mọ̀ká. Ojúṣe mi sì ni láti ràn lọ́wọ́ kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ìdí nìyí tí ó di àjẹsára rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ dúró digbí kó lè gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ títí tẹ́sẹ̀ rẹ̀ yóò fi múlẹ̀.
Ìràwọ̀ òṣèré wa tó kàn ní oníjó ballerino.
Mo ń fún ọmọ mi ní Vita lójoojúmọ́ tó ní iron, zinc àti vitamin C tó sì ran odi àjẹsára rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ tó tún fún un ní okun láti mú kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Vita, okun láti ní ìran.
This is not a hotspot. It's not a thoughtless, trash-talking, savage streets. No. This is a zone for those with the true Niger spirit, who refuse to be confined by archaic laws, those who are not accustomed to the norm, who believe there's always a better way to do things. A hub for those who stand behind what they believe in, who make the most of the present to create the future they desire. This is Tribe Niger, for those who see it different and want to do it different.
To join the conversation, download the Tribe Niger app today.
Ever thought about how movies always have soundtracks to epic moments? A father walks his daughter down the aisle. Someone makes a major breakthrough.
Yes!
The hero saves the day. So, tell me, what sounds do you hear?
Oh yes.
Slash 105.5 FM. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ti gbọ́ wa kẹ̀tẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀. Ẹ tó láǹfààní àti ojú níwọ̀n.
Fún wa kí wọ́n tó sáré lọ sí ibiṣẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà bàbá wa máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ dalẹ́ wọ́n sì tún jí lówùúrọ̀ láti gbé mi lọ sí ilé ẹ̀kọ́ kò wá sí bó ṣe lè di gádígádí tó kì í rí wọn láti máa bá mi ṣeré ìdí ìrètí wọn kì í kúrò nílé láì jẹ big protein breakfast.
Bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọjọ́ rẹ pẹ̀lú oúnjẹ òwúrọ̀ tó kún fún big protein amárata kébé. Pig, rich for your pig.
Patito, I be first class truck driver.
Yes, it's Panadol Extra Caplets. Panadol Extra is now also available in a smaller pack of 4 caplets at only 50 naira. Same Panadol Extra Caplets that relieves headache, backache, muscle ache, menstrual pain, and toothache. If it's not Panadol, it's not the same thing as Panadol. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult a doctor. Panadol Extra contains paracetamol and caffeine. Not recommended in pregnancy and children under 12.
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is the jollof ready?
See? Right on time. Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Try Ariel. Now your clothes will be cleaner than they've ever been. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, yeah, protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel.
Because this is just a radio ad, you can't get a taste of this delicious hot chocolate. You can't savor the irresistible aroma stemming from this mix of Cadbury chocolate, milk, and sugar. You can't even feel the warmth that comes with every sip. But do you know what you can do? You can make yourself a mug of Cadbury hot chocolate right now and feel the goodness in every sip. Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate. Enjoy the Cadbury goodness.
Ṣolówó nínú àkáǹtì rẹ̀, ṣó fẹ́ gba díẹ̀ nínú rẹ̀. Ṣàlọ́ ṣe cardless withdrawal. Ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Momo agent. Ọ̀dà àǹtí káàdì rẹ̀ dà. Mo ti gbàgbé rẹ̀ sílé. Gbowó rẹ̀ láì ní káàdì lọ́wọ́. Ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Momo agent. Ìgbàkúgbà tó bá nílò owó. Ṣùgbọ́n káàdì rẹ̀ ò sí nítòsí. Ṣá ti ṣe cardless withdrawal. Ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Momo agent. Momo agent yóò. Ṣá ti ṣe cardless withdrawal.
lè gbowó lọ́wọ́ èyíkéyìí aṣojú Momo tó súnmọ́ jùlọ. Kódà tí káàdì ìgbowó ò bá sí lọ́wọ́ ẹ, ṣáà ti tẹ *223# láti wá Momo agent tó súnmọ́ ọ jùlọ.
Momo agent kò léwu, ó yá gan, kò sì ní wàhálà.
Not a new level. We are sample your ticket from Baskin to Yesterday's gone today. It be a lucky day for Baskin to Baskin go. You are royal, you oh yeah, come make me bet with Baskin to go check these cars out today. It be a lucky day.
Playground for kings.
Welcome back. This is Splash 105.5 FM. It's your integrity station. We appreciate you for all that you do listening to our station right here. Oh, it's Economic Searchlight if you're just joining us. And what we're doing right here is to bring you issues around our economy. So today we have twin issues. Quickly, let's jump into the first one. It's the issue of purchasing power of a consumer. And Bismarck Rewani did a little analysis here about our ability to buy things that we used to buy and why we are unable to buy the things that we used to buy in the marketplace. Listen to him here.
The Nigerian consumer or the Nigerian citizen, in other words, is embattled. There's a bunker mentality. First and foremost, the economy is struggling. Secondly, the future is unclear. So when you're struggling and the future doesn't look clear, you become desperate. And the desperate man is a dangerous man. So at this point in time, you're saying, splashing the consumer's throat. Truth is that the throat has already been slashed anyway. So it's how to survive in these trying times. Having said that, we went on a minimum wage from 18,000 to 30,000. And in dollar terms, it was supposedly about $90 a month. Now it's back again to about almost $60 a month. So when confronted with higher prices and lower income, the consumer begins to change his habits and patterns. The NBS has disclosed that 58% of Nigerians actually reduced the amount of food they're consuming in the last 3 months. Not switching to substitutes, but actually reducing the quantity of food, not to talk of the quality and the nutrient value. Right? 26% of Nigerians reduced the amount of non-food items they consumed. Therefore, it's a battle for survival. So that's the context. Now, what does this mean? The question is, who protects this consumer? Is the consumer protected more by regulation or protected more by competition? The answer clearly or protected more by competition. The answer clearly in a free market economy, consumer is king. But in a free market economy that is rigged, the consumer is a slave. Right? So that's the truth. Today, you have, for example, if you want to buy a plot of land from the government, if you want electricity meter, right? The regulations are.
It's Junior's 9th anniversary.
The regulations are there that you must get a meter. The regulations are there that you can get a plot of land. But the regulation does not protect the consumer. You will not get that land. You will not get that meter because regulation cannot see you through. The reality is that it is competition. 20, 30 years ago, if you wanted a telephone line, you had to bribe, you had to do that. Today, because of competition amongst the telcos, you can get a SIM card within a second. So the question is, what is protecting the consumer? The reason why this has come up more than anything is that prices have gone up sharply, whilst at the same time, the empirical evidence says that prices are going up, are declining, while anecdotal evidence shows that prices are actually, so there's a catch somewhere.
Okay.
I think that is the context in which we are.
And also we have
Now, see, the manufacturer can only sell to a consumer who has money to buy. So when confronted with this situation and incomes are dwindling, the manufacturer has a choice, either to pass on the increased cost to the market and sell nothing or sell less, or pass on, absorb some of this things so that at least you remain there while others will not survive. So what you're seeing today is that some manufacturers are cost efficient. For example, let me take Nestle, right? The Milo, Maggi Cube, Golden Morn and all of that. They've passed some of the cost efficiencies because of on to the consumer. So you find that their prices have not increased as sharply as the rate of inflation. In other words, they are absorbing this, but they are absorbing it with cost efficiencies. While the inefficient players have no choice but to pass it on to the market. And basically, they have to adapt or perish. That's the way it is. So the question remains, what prices are going higher, and by how much are they increasing? And then how much is driven by competition, how much of it is driven by regulation, and who protects the consumer eventually? Let him be nameless at this point, is saying that please control the price of cement because he's probably a marginal player, maybe less than 10%, right? Whilst in the flour and pasta space, he's a bigger player. So in every industry, you have what they call price leaders and price followers. In any case, in a free market, if you increase your price beyond the indifference point of a consumer, the consumers will move to the others. So there's no, first of all, price controls never work. It leads to all sorts of arbitrage and speculative activity. It distorts the allocation of resources. So it is disingenuous for anybody to say, oh, please control the price here, but don't control the price there. Because in business, you have what they call loss leaders. You can decide to take losses in one area while you make profits in the other, but it's the group income that matters. So I would discount that as it's an irrelevant cry by a player that is losing market share, right? But if the price increase, and let us look at cement, cumulatively, in the last 7 or 8 years, the inflation has gone up by more than 110%, while the price of cement has only gone up this year by 21%, and also cumulatively about almost 50 to 60%. So, in other words, the cement industry has been absorbing some of the cost because there's a cost of putting and the cost of transporting cement from one location to the other, especially at a time when there was a recession, and especially cement is seasonal. During the rainy season, nobody buys cement. So who are the main buyers of cement? The civil and construction business, real estate, which has been down, and other areas. So what has happened is that you see more roads being built with interlocking blocks and aggregates. So the cement industry is probably fully integrated, but you cannot subsidize that industry. Can you exploit? It's highly competitive between Dangote Cement, which is a dominant player, and Lafarge, who are the key players. Then you have some others who are trying to kind of gain some relevance.
All right. Well,
Bismarck Rawani there speaking on national television about the power of the purchasing, ability of Nigerians, as it were. We'll take a break. Understood it more. He said, reducing the quantity of what they used to eat. About 58% of Nigerians did that because of their purchasing power in the last few months. And also on non-food items, some people, about 26% of Nigerians, reduce what they buy, particularly things that are not food. About 30% that reduced it. How often do you also go for entertainment these days, like going for movies, recreation, gym, the rest that are non-food? That's economy for you. Well, we're still on Facebook. You can join us right there and make your comments. Thank you so much for joining us. Elijah, Brian, Atanda, and Oladele Aziz for your comment on Facebook. You can also make your comment on Facebook this morning. I will take another break. When I come back, Bena Kabweze will be the one I'll face. We'll be talking about the sustainability of our debt profile in Nigeria. Stay with us. Don't go away.
So be cleaner than they ever be. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, yeah, protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel.
Worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is the jollof ready?
See? Right on time. Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia. Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Torí wípé ìpolówó ọjà orí rédíò lásìkò àti kíkí pọ́pọ́ chocolate tó peléke yìí. Ẹ ò lè gbóòórùn dídùn tó ń jáde láti inú ooru àpòpọ̀ Cadbury chocolate mílíìkì pẹ̀lú ṣúgà tó ṣe rẹ́gí. Ẹ ò tí ì lè mọ ìgbáládùn gbígbóná rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ire tó wà nínú ife Cadbury chocolate mi yìí. Ǹjẹ́ mo ń tẹ̀lé ṣe bí? Ẹ̀yin náà ẹ ṣètò ife Cadbury hot chocolate aládùn tiyín báyìí.
Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate jẹ́ ìgbádùn ìrètí Cadbury.
Hey, ọpẹ́ o, oníbàárà mi ti pè. Hello. Àfìgbà tí fóònù yìí kó bá mi po, iṣẹ́ ti bọ́, mo ṣẹran jọ́bọ́jọ́bọ́ nù.
Ọ̀rẹ́, kí ló dé tó ń ṣàròyé lórí fóònù rẹ?
Oníbàárà mi ni mo máa ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ o. Àfìgbà tí fóònù dédé kú pi bí iná NEPA.
Ìyẹn ọ̀mà lè. Paco X làmí ẹ̀.
Aha! Ọ̀gá ni kán láwùjọ òkúta. Ọ̀gá ni tìǹkó láwùjọ ẹran. Tó bá di kára fóònù tàbí ṣe pàṣípààrọ̀ fóònù. Paco X àwọn gangan lọ̀gá. Tàbí tí o bá fẹ́ ra fóònù gidi tó lálòpẹ́ kí o sì máa sanwó díẹ̀díẹ̀. Paco X àwọn gangan lọ̀gá. Ó kalẹ̀ sí number 1 Bon Appetit Plaza Trans Amusement Park Junction Bódìjà UI Road Ibadan Ọ̀yọ́ State. Hello wọn ni 09019736744. Tàbí kí o kàn sí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára wọn at www.pacoxhub.com tàbí lórí ẹ̀rọ Instagram at pacox_hub. Paco X onífóònù tó lálòpẹ́.
You can have it hot, big chocolate. You can have it cold, big chocolate. You can have it at home, at school, at work, or when you hit the road. It doesn't matter who you are, grown up or a kid. Enjoy the chocolate to goodness every day because you need to reach your peak. Everybody needs nourishing goodness. You can never have enough, it's true. Taste the nourishment you can enjoy. Big chocolate it is. Kids, grown-ups, it doesn't matter. Have a rich cup of peak chocolate anytime and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolaty goodness. Big chocolate it is. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Our oil sachet, 79 only 79. I said our oil sachet now, 79 only 79. Ogbonge cooking oil now, 79 for a healthy family. 79 Ogbonge cooking oil now, 79 our oil sachet now, 79
Power oil for a healthy family.
No matter what they do, we move. Ooh, yeah. Say we move. No matter what they do, we move. I don't go let wahala wahala hold me down. Oh yeah. I don't go let wahala hold me down. I don't go let wahala hold me down.
Whatever life brings, we move. Turn up your dreams. MTN, everywhere you go.
Try Ariel. Now your clothes will be cleaner than they've ever been. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, yeah, protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel.
1xBet, oh, 1xBet. Everyone agrees that 1xBet is the favorite bookie because of the highest odds, fast deposits, ability to sell slips, bet insurance, and more. What's even more exciting about 1xBet is that you can make money from things like virtual games, basketball, horse racing, and more. Log on to NG to register, and don't forget to use the promo code RadioWin and get 200% bonus on your first deposit. 1xBet, bet for every taste.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Breaks here for Bruno Fernandes. Oh, what a strike!
My God, though, for people when sabi to come chop and reach up. For where? Now for Mozart Beto.
100 million naira. I beg how fit win.
Now to go register for Mozart Beto, just go log on to www.mozartbet.ng. I say www.mozzartbet.ng, and you will get 100% welcome bonus sharply for your first deposit. And you too go soon become millionaire with that. Just continue to charge your winnings with our Mozart Bet 1000% super multi bonus.
Oh boy, no be small thing so. I beg, I don't join.
Better day for Mozart Beto. Just go log on to www.mozzartbet.ng. I say www.mozzartbet.ng. Go register, make you hammer. Mozart Bet. Terms and conditions dey sha o.
Wait, Mike, is that a signed Messi jersey? How did you get that?
I exchanged my Smooth Crown corks for it.
What?
Yup, you can trade your corks for Smooth King's gifts, such as jackets, shorts, or an autographed Messi jersey, and get to be smooth like me.
All right.
Be a smooth Niger King.
All right, thank you so much for being there with us. We had to go on that commercial break, and I'm glad to tell you that we're back this time on the program. So let's talk about debt management in Nigeria. That's our focus at this point in time. So the DMO, Debt Management Office, has figures for us about our debt. But I won't go, because of the time that I've got, I won't go so much into the figures, really. But let's hear what Bernard Kabweze had to say to us.
first of all, for that point to sink in to Nigerians that we're not a rich country. We're a potentially rich country. But the reality today is that, we are a poor country. Okay? Because, and the definition of poverty, when the resources you have simply cannot, you're poor. But you see, at the level of individuals, sometimes that decision is easier. Okay, you don't have enough. You can beg if you can find where to beg. You can whatever. You can make certain decisions. You just, you can decide not to eat, go hungry, fast, starve, whatever. But at the level of the nation, it's perhaps not that straightforward. Because at the level of the nation, for instance, government has certain mandatory obligations. So, for instance, government has, the Constitution says it is a primary duty of function of government, the security and welfare of the people. And so, when the security of the people is threatened, government can't simply, throw its hand up in the air and say, well, we don't have money. Therefore nothing doing. So there's some mandatory obligations that government has to the people, which, it's got to us, just for illustration's sake, 200 naira to the dollar. That $1 billion will be $200 billion. Today, without adding any dime to how much you owe, if the exchange rate is 400, that same $1 billion will be, 400 billion naira. And on the face of it, it will seem like, in naira terms, your debt has doubled. So I'm just saying this is part of the explanation for the foreign currency component of the debt. Okay, in naira terms has the same, but it's also, true that government has taken on substantially more loans since 2015. First, there was the recession of 2016-2017. As you will recall, in 2015, oil prices tanked, and leading up into 2016, and that triggered, a recession for many oil-producing and oil-dependent economies. And we weren't an exception, and so that created a need to borrow. When an economy goes into recession, and that's part of why I was saying that how nations act sometimes not necessarily the same as how an individual would act. In a recession, nations tend to act counter-cyclically. In a recession, when you find yourself in a recession, what you suggest is, okay, I don't have much money, and therefore I shouldn't spend. But the time-tested way to get out of recession is what is called spending your way out of recession. The break, I was just explaining that, when the economy went into recession 2016 to 2017, the response was to try and spend our way out of recession, which is, that is classical economics. And so in the absence of the revenues, we resorted to borrowing. And thankfully, we got out of the recession, in quick order, launched the economic recovery and growth plan. But while we were still in the growth phase, the recovery phase, before we could actually hit, significant growth, COVID-19 came again and basically took us back into recession. And so each of these recessions have meant that your capacity to generate revenues were diminished. But at the same time, you have, requirements. When COVID hit, it took away your revenue generating capacity, but it left you with a health problem. You're not going to roll over and say to your citizens, sorry, we don't have money, so you cannot go and die. So government had to come with a 500, billion naira COVID, intervention fund. This was not part of what you had planned to spend in 2020.
Ben Akabweze there explaining our debt for us. I told you, he started from the point of Nigeria not a rich country. He also went ahead to talk about our revenue generation and how we have to sustain our debt. Well, I will have to stop here on the program today. But before I leave, Oreolua is a year older today. So Oreolua, happy birthday to you. All of us here will say happy birthday, long life, prosperity, goodness and greatness for you. Happy birthday to you. All right. But I'd like to thank all of you for being part of this program. Desmond Adegboyega, thank you for being here. I'm Oluwaseun Akinola. May Nigeria survive? Good morning.
We educate. That's why we are respected. We inform. That's why we are loved. More music. We are the best.